happy day to all of you, my dear children. Greetings from Icon School of Excellence. I am Sindhu, your social science teacher. I wish all of you are safe, doing good, and ready to learn. Students, last class we learned about Mughal Empire or Mughal dynasty, the founder of Mughal Empire, Babur, and how he established or how he founded Mughal Empire in India. Today we are going to see about Humayun and Sher Shah Suri. First, Humayun. Humayun succeeded his father Babur in 1530 CE. He was the second Mughal emperor. Humayun had two major rivals, Sultan Bahadur Shah of Gujarat and Sher Shah Suri of Bihar. In 1539 CE, the two armies of Sher Shah and Humayun faced each other at Chausa. The Mughal army was completely routed. Humayun jumped into the Ganga and floated down the river with the help of water carriers and inflated water bags. So, in this battle of Chausa, Sher Shah and Humayun faced each other and Humayun was defeated by Sher Shah. Next, about the battle of Kannauj. Encouraged by this success, Sher Khan planned another attack on the Mughal forces and made elaborate military preparations. In 1540 CE, the two armies clashed at Kannauj. The Mughal forces were decisively defeated this time. Sher Khan became the master of Delhi and Agra and assumed the title of Sher Shah. The large but fragile Mughal empire came to an end and was replaced by the Afghan rule after this battle of Kannauj. Humayun's exile for the next 15 years, that is from 1540 to 55 CE, Humayun wandered about from place to place in search of shelter. His brothers also refused to help him. In 1542 CE, in a small town in Amarkot in Sindh, a son, Akbar, was born to Humayun and his wife Hamida Banu, whom he had married during his exile. Humayun finally left India and found a refuge and assistance in the court of the Persian emperor. This Sher Shah died in 1545 CE and this weakened the Afghan dynasty. Taking advantage of the situation, Humayun returned to India and recaptured Delhi and Agra. Humayun died shortly afterwards in an accidental fall down the stairs of his library. This is the picture of that library at Purana. His life was chronicled in a biographical work called Humayun Nama, written by his sister Gulbadan Begum. And this book, Humayun Nama, gives a detailed account of Humayun's life. Humayun was a learned man and well-versed in various languages and subjects such as mathematics, philosophy, and astronomy. Even learning was encouraged even among the women in the family also. Next, we are going to learn about Sher Shah. Sher Shah was born in Bihar and his real name was Farid. He was given the title of Sher Khan after he single-handedly killed a tiger. He joined the Mughal army when Babur invaded India and learned the techniques of Mughal warfare, and taking advantage of the political instability following Babur's death, Sher Khan established authority in Bihar and Bengal. And Shah Khan was determined to drive out the Mughals from India and re-establish Afghan rule. He defeated Humayun in the Battle of Chausa and Battle of Kannauj and occupied the throne of Delhi in 1540 CE. Next, we are going to see the administration of Sher Shah. Sher Shah introduced many reforms. He divided the empire into provinces or sarkars. Each province was further subdivided into districts or parganas. And each pargana was made up of a number of villages. Each sarkar was placed under an Afghan chief. In every pargana, there were several officials whose work was supervised by the Shikdari and Shikdaram and the Munsifai. The Shikdar was responsible for law and order and general administration. Shikdar was responsible for law and order and general administration, and Munsif looked after the collection of revenue and civil cases. Shikdar and Munsif. This is about the central administration of Sher Shah. Next, we are going to see, or we are going to learn about the revenue administration under Sher Shah. Sher Shah's greatest achievement was his revenue system. Several reforms were introduced to improve the existing system. The land was carefully surveyed and measured every year, and the average produce calculated on the basis of its fertility. And 1/3 of this was to be paid as tax in cash or kind. The land was divided into 3 types on the basis of fertility. Sher Shah insisted on lenient assessment but strict collection of taxes. Taxes were reduced and loans were granted if the crops were damaged during war or if they failed due to natural calamities such as drought or flood. And the Jagir system was discouraged and the system of Pata, that is the title deed and the agreement, was introduced. Thus, the mutual rights and duties of the peasants and the government were clearly defined. The conditions of the peasants improved, cultivation increased, and the royal treasury was assured of steady and a regular flow of funds. This is about the revenue administration of Sher Shah. Next, military organization. Sher Shah established a large standing army and introduced measures to make it disciplined, efficient, and strong. He took personal interest in the appointment and training of soldiers. The salaries of the soldiers and officers were fixed according to their skill and ability. He also introduced the branding, horses called that, and maintaining a descriptive role of the soldiers called Chehra. The army was divided into many units and each unit was placed under a commander. The cavalry and infantry were highly trained, disciplined, and were equipped with artillery. This is about the military organization of Sher Shah Suri. Next, transport and communication. Sher Shah built an excellent network of roads to facilitate the quick movement of officials and troops throughout the empire, to promote trade and commerce, and to make traveling easier and comfortable. The Grand Trunk Road was the longest and the most important of the 4 major roads that he built, and this road connected Bengal in the east to Peshawar in the northwest. And he also planted many trees on both sides of the roads, and even he built rest houses called sarais, and wells were built at regular intervals for travelers and merchants. And this encouraged merchants to travel extensively, and which in turn led to the growth of trade. Trade also got an impetus with the introduction of the new silver coin called rupiah. He introduced a new silver coin called rupiah. Sher Shah as a ruler, Sher Shah followed a policy of religious tolerance. He appointed Hindus to high posts of trust and responsibility. One of his ablest generals was Brahmajit Gaur, and even Raja Todarmal, one of the 9 gems in Akbar's court, began his career under Sher Shah. Large amount of money were given in charity to both Hindus and Muslims. Sher Shah was also a great builder. He built a magnificent fort at Rostaq and some buildings in Purana Qila at Delhi. He also planned and built his own tomb at Sasaram in Bihar. During the siege of Kalenjor in 1545 CE, he died in an accidental explosion of gunpowder, bringing to an end a brief but brilliant 5 years reign of Sher Shah. Next, we are going to recollect the points which we learned today's section. Humayun was the son of Babur, and he fought 2 battles, major battles against Sher Shah, that is Chausa, Battle of Chausa and Battle of Kannauj. And about his exile we learned, and he took shelter at court of a Persian emperor, and after the death of Sher Shah Suri, he returned to India in 1555 CE. Within a short period of time, he died in an accidental fall from his library in 1555 CE. Next, I'm going to recollect the points which you learned about Sher Shah. He is from Bihar. Sorry, he was from Bihar. He killed a tiger single-handedly, so he got the name Sher Khan. We learned about the administration, his military administration, provincial administration, and his religious tolerance. All this we learned. Military organization were about branding of horses and chehra, and he built the famous Grand Trunk Road and introduced silver coin called rupiah. Next, about his religious tolerance, he appointed many Hindus at high post in his court. So, I am giving one assignment for you, that is, if you use your imagination and write about this. If Sher Shah became an advisor to the Prime Minister of India, what measures or reforms and policies would he suggest for the welfare of the citizens of India, and why? In your own imagination, you have to write this. Next, one picture study. This is a picture of the tomb of the successor of Babur. You have to name the Mughal emperor who is buried in this tomb. And where is this monument located? In which book would you find a detailed account of his life? Who wrote it? Why did he spend 15 years in exile? This is your homework. So children, I hope all of you understood today's lesson. And I believe you were able to understand all that was discussed and explained. Children, importantly, I want all of you to revise on what was taught in today's section, at least twice, and do all the assignments, activities or projects given without fail. I look forward to see you in my next session, eager to bringing you all the interesting topics. Lots and lots of wishes to you for your health and safety from all of us at Icon School of Excellence. Happy learning. Thank you.